All right, guys. Welcome back. Fowl TV. This is episode number 4. Um, Something a little bit different today. I'm solo. Normally, I got my guy Logan with me or Sean, so it's gonna feel a little weird me sitting here talking to myself. I know I'm reaching out to an audience, but I'm sitting here in my garage talking to a microphone and a camera, so it's gonna feel it's gonna be weird. So kind of bear with me, So I just want to get into a few things. It's going to be a quick one today. Not going to take up an hour of your time, so hopefully you guys can bear with me a little bit longer than what we have been. So, um, first thing I want to jump into, we got kind of a newer thing coming up with our name. Now, we're not going to change our name completely. I was talking with Logan. We were on our way up to go see John with the Filthy Spoon, and I had another idea, a variation with our name. So we're gonna leave the fowl in the mouth, but we're gonna change out TV with another word. But we're not gonna do it yet. We're probably gonna wait. I'd say about a month or so, and I'll get into that here in a minute. But I felt me and Logan kind of felt that it the name fit a little bit better, and I think it's gonna work well. So, and I think it's gonna stick just a little bit more, um, and be a little bit more recognizable. So that's what we're shooting for. Um, but yeah, I'll get right into um, getting on the Filthy Spoon podcast with John. So little backstory. Um, Me and John met. I want to say it had to be in January of the last duck season, and was at Farmers. Me and Sean, and this guy comes up in this wax camo coat, and he introduces himself. He says, "Hi, I'm John," and I mentioned, I introduced myself as well, and he started talking, asking us questions. If we were hunters, or and if we did, where were we hunting at, and how often were we up there? So, that conversation kept going, and I can talk to anybody, but John definitely can talk to everybody. Anybody, and that whole night, I had noticed that he was talking to a lot of people. So me and him, we talked for man, we went for maybe about an hour and a half. We were just talking and shooting the shit, and his buddy Ivan kept buying us beers. So we kept drinking, kept talking, and then I hadn't known, I hadn't put a face to his podcast. I had listened to his podcast before, and I just hadn't put a face to it. Hadn't been connected with him on Instagram. So his buddy Ivan came up and said, "Hey man, this guy's famous. Um, he runs a podcast," and then you know ended up figuring out that he was running the Filthy Spoon podcast. So um, like I said, after we had talked for a while, we exchanged information. He offered for me to come on the show, and I was, more than ready to. I was more than willing to. I thought it was something that was pretty cool, and like I said, for those who know me, I don't mind talking. Um, so that was something I was looking forward to. Now, I didn't think that it would necessarily happen as soon as it did, but yeah, it did, and um, it's funny because I had reached out to him, you know, a couple months later, and just kind of checked in with him, seeing how he was doing, and we shared some words, and then that was it. And then kind of fast forward to about a month ago, me and Logan and Sean, we started this channel, and we started our YouTube channel, started to put some content out, started a Instagram page, same thing, started to put some material out, and then probably about 2 weeks ago, he called me out the blue and asked me, he said, "Hey man, I see you're on YouTube, and Instagram and stuff like that, man. I really like what you guys got going with your page, and I would love to have you come on and we can promote your page and just sit down and talk about this coming upcoming season, what you're gonna do, what your plans, and we can kind of just let the conversation flow from there. So me, I was like, yeah, hell yeah, I'll do it. So we set that time up, and so yeah, we went up and met with him. We went to Stan's bar. Had a couple beers before we started, and then kind of got into it. So just kind of like a recap of that. John really uh, allowed us to put our mission out on what we really want to do, what we're really all about. And I can't credit John enough for that, because he's been in this podcasting game for 3 years, and he's really good at pulling a lot of information out of his guests. He knows exactly the right questions to ask. He knows how to lead the conversation exactly where he wants it to go. And it was just it was it was pretty cool to see um, how he orchestrated that. And that's something that I would is I aspire to be like when I sit down with guests, which I'll have guests on the channel coming up. You know, but I hope that I can be that good with interacting with guests, and I understand that um, all this is going to take some time. It's going to take some practice. It's going to take some repetition. It's going to take me getting multiple people on here. Sometimes it's going to take me, I'm going to have to erase a whole entire episode and start over again because I don't like it. Right. I just want to put out the best product that I can for you guys to consume. So, like I said, man, he was so good at pulling information out of me and Logan, and so forthcoming with information. We talked about a lot of stuff off off record too. And I wish we would have been able to catch that. You guys would have had a 2 hour long podcast. I'm pretty sure nobody would have held on for that long, but we got our point across, got our main mission across, so people that do tune in to that episode will really hear what we're about. And I was glad we were able to relay that to the audience. So once again, man, shout out to John for having us on there. We're forever grateful um, for you to share your platform to promote something that's not even yours. It's such an unselfish act, and I'll always have his back for that. And he's always got a spot on our podcast anytime he wants. So, and we plan on getting him on our channel too, and he's up for it. We plan on getting some hunts in with him. So definitely looking forward to that. And once again, man, John, if you're listening, man, we appreciate it. We're so humbled, and I definitely look forward to the next one. So with that, like I said, I kind of aspire to be able to pull a lot of information out of the guests, and that just comes with being a better speaker. I always sometimes I look back at some of the previous podcasts that we've done, and I'm hard on myself because either I didn't relay the message correctly, or I didn't articulate it properly, or I'm saying a lot, or you start to analyze all these different things that you start to pick out when you watch yourself on film, and it's hard to capture that or check it while you're in the moment. So that's just something I'll continue to work on, and I'm hoping that when we get 10, 15, 20 episodes down the road, that this stuff just starts to become second nature or muscle memory per se, right? So just I'm keeping that in the back of my head, and I want to continue to get better when it comes to this podcast stuff and just speaking in general, right? So, kind of piggybacking off of kind of what we about in the podcast. We kind of talked about our vision, kind of talked about capturing our success, and kind of capturing our growth as hunters, right? And there were some things that I kind of listened to, and when I listened back to that episode, there were some things that, or just the way that some things were articulated, that kind of made it sound like we knew exactly what we were doing. And by any means, and I want to clear that up, by any means, we are not professional hunters. And I guarantee you that you will see us fail more this season than you'll see us have success. And I hope that you guys can rock with us through those failed hunts. And you know, hopefully, if you guys stay with us in those failed, you're watching those failed hunts, or you're watching those 2 or 3 bird hunts that were scratching our heads at the end and wondering what we did wrong and stuff like that. It'll just make those good days even more rewarding as a viewer watching those, right? So just want to make sure, man, that by no means we're claiming to be professional hunters. And I want to make sure that we stick by that and we capture that journey for us to continue to learn it and get better as duck hunters. Now, with a couple personal goals, or a personal goal, I set this goal last year and I failed completely. I'm gonna just be honest with you. I set a 100 bird goal um, last year, and I would think I was around the 50 mark, so I fell short by a lot. So this year I'm gonna set the same goal, and I'm gonna try my hardest to get it. I'm gonna scratch it out, no matter no matter how I can. If I gotta do you know 101 bird days, I'm gonna do it. If I gotta do 52 bird days, I'm gonna do it. But I'm definitely ready to hit that goal. I set that goal last year. I missed it. I was pissed off that I missed it. I didn't have the chances that I needed to even do it. And I also didn't even put myself in the position to get that many birds. So there's some things personally that's driving me, and I'm gonna try my hardest to get that 100 bird goal. I want to touch on the aftermath of being on the Filthy Spoon podcast, right? So I knew that there was a chance that some people would hear the episode and then check our channels out and either follow us or view some videos or whatever it may be. But I received a lot more than that, right? So I had quite a few people reach out to me, whether it's via Instagram or YouTube, and really send some positive messages. I had a guy that, and I'll get into some of these. I actually have some people that I am going to shout out, but a couple people really reached out to me and said, "Hey, man, I love your message. I can't wait to tune in and watch you guys kill it this season." And had a couple other people, comment on YouTube. "Hey, man, I really like the content. Keep it going. I can't wait to watch." Et cetera. And that's such a um, motivator when you have people that don't even know you that are rooting for you, right? And I kind of touched on that on the podcast on the Filthy Spoon. Was we're such a small knit community, a tight knit community that um we really need to stick together, and we really need to encourage each other to continue to grow the sport. And man, I think that message was received head on, because man, I received a lot of positive messages from duck hunters all around the state, from Southern California, Northern California, some from even out of the state. Um, military veterans, you name it, women, men, you name it. A lot of people reached out and just showered us with positive messages. So I'm more than humble to have had that happen, and I couldn't. I can't. It's hard for me to put it in words on how grateful I am to have strangers that don't owe me the time of day. You guys don't owe me any time. You guys don't have to sit down and spend your free time watching me sit here and talk, or watching me and my buddies sit here and talk, or even watching some of the hunts that are going to come up. You guys don't owe me that. That's all given out of your free will. So definitely we appreciate that. The team appreciates that. Um, and I just hope that you guys continue to spread that positive energy, throughout the duck hunting world overall. And I plan to do that as well. I plan to support those outdoor channels and those duck hunting pages and stuff like that. I always plan to get on there and drop a comment, drop some likes, follow, support. So like I said, I appreciate it. Couldn't Like I said, it's a huge motivator for me to keep going, is knowing that people are out here and watching and consuming this content. So you know, kind of close it out. I do want to give a specific shout out to Colin from the Sweat Line. He's out of SoCal, and he reached out to me and really said that, hey man, I love your guys' message, and I want to see you guys succeed and keep going, and I can't wait to watch it. I can't wait to watch you guys kill it this season. And then Duck Chugger reached out to us, excuse me, on YouTube, and once again said he can't wait to watch us grow. And I've watched Doug Chugger's content. I've been watching that for a while now. When I first started getting into hunting, his content was one of the first. Some of his hunting videos were some of the first videos that I came across. So, always kind of looked up to him as kind of like loved his content that he put out. So, was just really surprised that he reached out to me, and um, definitely thankful for that, man. I really appreciate the words of encouragement. So, you know, shout out. There's a lot of other people that I'm missing. I'm sorry that I miss you, but you know, like I said, the encouragement was by far the best part of uh, this whole entire thing. I knew that the podcast would pull traffic towards our pages, but didn't know that it would do the amount that it did. It would pull the amount of traffic that it did, and once again, I'm very thankful for John not only allowing us to promote our channel on his podcast, but you know it it's just it was such a uh special thing that we were able to do. So just super appreciative. Um and with that, man, I'm gonna kind of close it out. This is gonna be the shortest one. We got 20 minutes. Hopefully I can keep you guys on the line for 20 minutes. I know the previous episodes are hour plus, so hopefully you guys can hold on a little bit longer. The retention time will be a little bit higher, and catch you guys on the next one, man. Appreciate it.